Right now, an early senator who was looking at this not only got his way on getting the Senate Republican leader to keep the lights on and the doors open through at least the first half of August, but South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds also appears to be open to that very idea of a 3.8% tax, largely on the upper income, that would stay in effect. In other words, not all the taxes associated with so-called Obamacare would be rescinded, but there is a method to that, not only to try to strike a deal eventually to get this thing done and out, but to move forward on a couple of things that would be advantageous. That opens up a lot of money, better than $230 billion worth over the next 10 years. You can do a lot with that, and doesn't Senator Mike Rounds know it? Senator, very good to have you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. So let's first talk about how you were able to influence Mitch McConnell to keep those lights on, to keep the doors open.
Well, there's a group of us. There were 10 of us that sent a letter to the leader. And we did it because we were pretty sure that the leader really did understand the need to stay in for a little bit longer. We've been in a series of delays here in the Senate, and if we could add 10 days to our work period, that means we can get some more stuff done. I think the leader wanted to do it, but this was our way of sending a very clear message that we would support him in this plan. And it's not popular to stay here. A lot of people want to get back in state. They want to be able to be back in their home states. But at the same time, folks that we're talking to, when we get back, we do parades, we do coffees and so forth. They tell us, look, we want results. And you may not have it perfect, but we want you to get something done. We didn't send you there just to keep the status quo. We sent you there to fix things. And if it means spending some more time here in the middle of August, I guess that's what we've got to do.
You know, the Rapid City Journal commentator there had said of you, Senator, when you looked at this and obviously got your way on keeping the lights on, but also on this surtax on the wealthy, to keep that going for a while. This idea apparently was among, you were the early converts to that Senator Rounds shows some welcome independence. I think I'm quoting that correctly. But, you know, conservatives in the House will come back at you, sir, and say anything the media likes, maybe we conservatives should not. What do you say to that? That they're concerned that you senators are giving up your zeal for tax cuts by keeping some big ones in place?
What we know is that there's a cost to Obamacare. We're not out of those costs yet. We have to recognize those costs, and if we don't take care of it and help the American public, they're going to end up with higher premiums, and they can't afford that right now. This is an Obamacare hangover, and we have to be able to help.
So
the
what
American
does that
public
buy
deal
you,
with
Senator? What I know this means an extra $200 to $230 billion over 10 years. I'm not sure the exact figures if you keep that and the 0.9% Medicare surtax, again, largely on the wealthy. Does that buy you some more votes or potential votes among some of your colleagues, maybe yourself included, concerned about Medicaid cuts and the rest?
More importantly than buying votes, what it does is it gives us some tools to continue some tax subsidies for folks who otherwise would have seen extremely high premiums because of what Obamacare put in place without any means to pay for it. And so what this does, it gives us one more tool to transition out of Obamacare. I know there's folks out there that like to see it just repealed, but if you do that, remember all of the protections that were in place through state laws and so forth were repealed by Obamacare. And if you simply repeal it and you don't address it with some changes and some market conduct reforms, then you basically have a no-frills plan in which pre-existing conditions could allow people to be dropped once again and so forth. And we want to take the best out of Obamacare because a lot of states had protections against the loss of pre-existing conditions before Obamacare ever came in. We want to take the best of that and incorporate it to make it a better product than what they've got today. And we think we can do that. But you've got to have the resources to transition out of Obamacare and back into a competitive market again.
Do you think that's what you'll have, though? I know your views on this subject, but your colleague Rand Paul has said this still ends up being, you know, Obamacare light. You've heard all the critics who, from largely conservative community, say that when you compromise on these taxes, you're going to compromise on the next wave, that is the tax plan to come. For example, on the upper income, do you believe the upper income should get a tax cut?
I think everybody should get a tax cut, but I'd like to see it across the board. My proposal on tax cuts is different than reforming health care. We need to keep them separate. So in this particular case, we have a cost involved with Obamacare that we have to recognize. We have to transition out. And I respect Senator Paul. I understand that he would like to have this be as good as it can be. That's what we all want. But we also understand that if we were to simply cut Obamacare right now and walk away and say, there, we've repealed it, we're going to leave a whole lot of people out there that get hurt, that have no place to go to help take care of their health care needs. We can't do that.
But are you surprised, Senator, in the
we have to
end?
help them pay for it.
I understand. I apologize. Do you feel that the criticism will be whatever Republicans come up with, and this does advance the ball, to your point? I mean, I even talked to Mark Meadows, of course, who runs the House Freedom Caucus, who was open to your idea, maybe as a trade-off to getting the comprehensive tax reform done later in the summer. But that this shows that Republicans have not, torpedoed Obamacare. They've just replaced it with something that is smaller but still substantial government-run health care.
Let's get away from the rhetoric and let's get back down to helping real people. What they want is access to health care, affordable health care. That's what they care about, and they want us to do things to fix the mess that we've got right now. Obamacare is failing under its own weight. We can't simply walk in and say it's gone, because without a transition, people will get hurt. So once again, pragmatically, we're going to do what's right for the people of the United States. And that means protecting them against the loss of protections against pre-existing conditions.
All right.
And when it comes to Medicaid, this is the first major reform effort on Medicaid since its inception. We're moving in the right direction. We're going to make it sustainable for another generation. So I feel that there's some real benefits in the proposal right now. I just think we can make it better with a few more tweaks.
And that with these tweaks that you'll be able to pass something maybe as soon as next week, the week after?
I hope so.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. I know that's what leadership wants. I think we can make it better than what it is today. Remember, we haven't seen the wraparound that the leadership has laid out. They've given us a broad overview of it. I liked what they had for recommendations. Haven't seen it in writing yet. We'll get to read that bill again. One difference here is we're actually reading the bills before we pass them. That's a major change for Congress. But what we're doing is we're learning where we can make things better. And as long as we've got an open amendment process, I'm convinced that as we learn about the changes that are there, we'll tweak it. We will make it better than the original provisions.
Are you worried? I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Donald Trump Jr. flap over meeting with this Russian and all that this, whatever you think of what he did, is going to be a summer-long distraction. Might even get in the way of what you want to do on all this other stuff.
Well, we want to be pragmatic in that respect, too. We'll compartmentalize those issues. We know it's important to the American public. We recognize that Russia was trying to influence the elections. We recognize that. But we've also set it up so that the Senate Intelligence Committee is taking the lead role in that. We'll let them do their work. And in the meantime, we'll continue to focus on health care. We'll continue to focus on getting our armed services, our National Defense Authorization Act through. We'll continue to focus on tax reform. And by the way, I think there's going to be some real opportunities for legitimate tax reform coming through before the end of the year. I'm optimistic
you
about
weren't
that.
angered by these developments, that whatever you think of this whole back and forth with Russia and everything else, that Donald Trump Jr. maybe unwittingly made a crisis for you guys?
Look, what I see is probably some inexperience in terms of running political campaigns. That's a part of it. Folks wanted a new president. They wanted a president without a lot of government experience. They wanted him to come in and shake things up. They also want him to be successful. And if we want this president to be successful, we've got to focus on our part of the job. He wants tax reform. He wants to do an infrastructure bill. These are things that we want to do as well. So we're going to focus on our part of it. We'll let them deal with the fallout of the most recent discussions.
All right. Anything impeachable here to you when you heard all this other stuff?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right.
This is just a case. Once again, we're going to come back into it. We're going to talk about what happens during a campaign.
Okay.
Could it have been handled better? Of course. But hindsight is always a lot better than when it's in the middle of a campaign.
Senator, always good seeing you. Senator Mike Rounds of the beautiful state of South Dakota. Thank you, sir.